This year, the University of Regina Students' Union is holding its Mental Wellness Week, with events such as keynote speakers, dog therapy rooms, and events around the university. The biggest event, however, is the Don't Quit Before the Miracle speech by Theoren Fleury. Fleury, who played over 1,000 games and scored over 1,000 points in the NHL, was able to sit down with us before his speech and give us insight to the way his new book was created and the stigma of mental illness.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank you for coming and sitting down with us. What has changed between your last book, Playing with Fire, written in 2009, and the process of writing Conversations with the Mouse?
Well, the first book was basically my life story and what happened, and Conversation with Mouse is quite different. It's a conversation between two friends, which happens to be a therapeutic conversation, and we work through some of the issues and the problems that I've had in the past.
In Playing with Fire, your co-author was Kirsty McClellan-Day, and in your most recent book, your co-author was Kim Barthel. What exactly does Kim bring to this book, and in what ways does she differ from this?
Well, Kim's vast knowledge of the therapeutic world, and she's also a neuroscientist, and so the way they would differ would be, Kirsty helps write autobiographies. This is an autobiography. This is more on the healing sort of self-help direction, and I enjoyed writing both books with each of them, and it's been a great experience.
Sticking with Kim, you described her as the Wayne Gretzky of therapy. What exactly did you mean?
That I believe that there's nobody better in the therapy world than Kim Barthel. So, just like I think that there's no better hockey player that's ever played the game than Wayne Gretzky. So, and not only that, having the opportunity to hang out with Wayne quite a bit, and obviously with Kim, they have a lot of similar characteristics. They're both very bright, very kind, and real easy to get along with.
Okay, since you become a motivational speaker and author, how have you grown as a person?
Oh man, leaps and bounds. It's definitely been educational, and it has been an incredibly rewarding experience. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I see the world through a different lens now, as opposed to the lens that I used to look through, probably as early as 10 years ago. So, it's been a pretty cool process, and it's been fun to do.
What exactly drove you to write a second book? Did you have to dig deeper to write this book?
No, this book was pretty easy to write, considering, the person that I wrote it. She made it very easy, very sort of non-confrontational, and like I said, Conversation around Snake is a conversation between two friends, and when you have friends, they're easy to talk to, and that's sort of how the book flows, and I think people really enjoy that.
With hockey being so much more competitive nowadays, what message do you have to the players entering hockey for the first time, starting hockey, or starting into their NHL careers?
Well, I think first and foremost it has to be fun, and what people don't realize is that the reason why we put our kids in sports is for the experience, not the end goal, right? Because the end goal, there's only 700 jobs in the NHL, and most of them are taken. So you have 8.5 million kids playing for 20 to 30 spots a year in the NHL, and so I think you need to have plan B because not everybody makes it. Whether you think you can or whatever it is, I think you got to look at the math and say, I can play hockey. I can get some really incredible core values. I can learn how to be on a team. And look at the experience that way as opposed to, the way that some parents look at it, and it's a hard thing to do, and it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of money and etc. But you can still get a great education, go to a great university, get a degree, and that's the thing. If you're good enough, there's so many scouts out there, and they watch so many games that if your kid's good enough, they'll find it.
Since you played, how do you think the conversation of mental illness in hockey and professional sports has improved? What exactly does it do better now, and what do you think it can do to continuously improve?
Well, I wouldn't say it's better, I would say there's a lot more awareness, there's a lot more education, but I don't know if there's enough help, and so I think there's a specialist for everything in sports now, and I think you need to have a mental health professional on staff so that if somebody's going through something difficult, they can go to them and get the help that they need.
Following up on that last question, how do you think you would have handled yourself in this new age of sports, in the new age of hockey?
Jeez, I don't know. I always say I love the era that I played in. I think the greatest players that ever played our game from top to bottom played in our era, and it was a lot of fun. And I don't know how I would do in this game, in this day, in this age, but like I said, I love the era that I played in.
Okay, if you could give a young professional athlete struggling with depression or substance abuse, if you could give any advice to this player, what would it be?
Well, first of all, it's okay to ask for help. It does not mean you're weak. It actually means the opposite. That you have a lot of courage and a lot of strength, and find somebody who's safe, and find somebody who can maybe relate to you and maybe relate to what you're going through. And I think the biggest thing is just it's okay to ask for help, and because I know from my own experience trying to internalize it and deal with it myself, was sort of detrimental at the end of the day. And when I finally reached out for help, that's when I made the greatest strides, with my own mental illness.
Taking a look at the future, how do you think the landscape of mental issues, what do you think they're going to play out in the next few years?
Well, it's hard to say, because it's such a, sort of man's, world. And, we've already seen 3 guys in hockey that have passed away because of mental illness. And I don't know if they've taken the right precautions or taken the right measures, but I think there's definitely a lot more awareness about it. I think there's a lot more concern about it. But again, there's an action step that needs to happen, and that means, there has to be a safe place where these guys can go and talk about their problems.
Thanks to books like Playing with Fire and Conversations with the Rattlesnake, what effect do you think you've had on the issue and both the world of sports and society in general?
Well, I don't really like to talk about myself too much, but I think that writing Playing with Fire for me changed my life, and subsequently, all the people that have come forward to me and revealed their own stories has changed my life as well. And it inspires me, it keeps me going, and I just feel really blessed that I was able to get through all the stuff that I needed to get through and to be where I'm at today. So it's through relationships that I've gotten better. And I think that's an important message for people to realize, is that you need to ask for help, you need to reach out for help, and because we really need to get rid of that stigma that asking for help is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Do you have anything else to add?
No, all good.
Thanks a lot for doing this for us.
Pleasure. Yep.
If you'd like to check out Theoren Fleury's speech at the University of Regina, it is today from 7 till 9. Tickets are free for students and $5 for community members.